Hey, crazy friends.
Hey, guys.
It's Jay and Francis with Find Your Crazy. We are a family of 9 who live full-time in our RV as we travel around the country to see every national park. This week, we're still in D.C. We're staying in D.C. for a couple of days, mainly to visit some old college friends, but while we're here, we wanted to do some stuff. We had originally thought it was just going to be one video, but we had so much fun at the Bible Museum that we decided to break it up into 2 videos. So this week, we want to flash back and carry you with us as we go to the Bible Museum. So obviously we're staying super close to DC as we're here seeing our friends, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to go into town, even though we're really not doing kind of DC today, in that a little more stuff is open now, but like 6 weeks ago when we were making this route, nothing was really open in DC. And even now, like a lot of the Smithsonian still aren't open, or the stuff that is open, like you gotta, even though it's still free, you gotta get a timed entry. It's just more complicated.
And we're here on a holiday weekend. So we are visiting on Memorial Day weekend. So anything that was open and timed entries are all full, because this is going to be a pretty popular weekend in DC.
So, which is fine, because we had already planned to come back later and do like a full week in DC. I mean, really, there's so much stuff. If you're really going to dive into the history and the museums, like a day is not going to work anyway. So what we decided to do is do something that we really wanted to do, and that is come in and do the Museum of the Bible. So we're really excited about this. This is something that, I've been tracking, as a pastor, obviously, for years. I mean, like, I was seeing articles about it, even when it was in this planning stage, and how, was this going to be a good thing or not, and then how well they did the research, and then how well they built it, and then, everything about it just says it's an unbelievable experience. And so we're really looking forward to it. And so that's what we're going in to do today. That's the only thing that's on our list. If we get done early, we'll see. But it's 6 floors of museum. And so some people have been like, we spent 3 days and could have spent longer. We don't have 3 days. I don't think our kids have 3 days in them anyway.
No.
But we're gonna go until we can't go anymore today. So we are really looking forward to it. So let's go check out this amazing museum.
Yes.
So we actually did end up spending all day at the Bible Museum.
All day.
We literally got there about 30 minutes after it opened, and we closed them out. I mean, they were literally closing the doors behind us as we left. There was just that much good stuff there. And the kids had a blast the entire time.
6 straight hours of a museum visit. And really, this for us was the first indoor museum that we have done on our travels. We really have not done
a lot of outdoor stuff
because of COVID, and our lifestyle is just all outside. So normally when we're somewhere, we're seeing a hike, or we're visiting the national parks or national battlefields. And so for us, this was a very rare treat for us to be able to go into a museum and have it open and be able to explore the entire day.
But obviously we weren't sure how the kids were going to do with that much. I mean, we joked that some people said they could spend 3 days there. I see now, I easily probably could have spent 3 days there.
Yes.
But one day was amazing with the kids. So if you're going to the Bible Museum, and we really suggest you go to the Bible Museum, if you're in D.C.,
you really need to
need to. I mean, it is unbelievably well done.
Yes.
Unbelievably well done. And if you've got kids, you really should go because so much of it is engaging even for kids, even though it's a lot of information. So if you are going with kids, here's how we're going to suggest that you tackle the museum, because the museum is 7 stories. That's right, 7 floors of museum. But if you tackle it this way, it kind of keeps the kids engaged and reinvigorates them through the whole time. So the top floor, how we suggest that you would do it is start at the top and work your way down to the
elevators
bottom.
up. You come in at the regular level. You get all your information right there at the entrance desk. So you get maps and lots of information. You can ask questions. It's really well done, very streamlined, easy to get in and out, and then go up the elevators to the very top floor.
And up on the 6th floor there's a restaurant up there too, but it's mainly the promenade, which is this big glass walkway all the way around the outside, and you can literally look around and see the skyline of D.C. I mean, we saw the Capitol building, we saw the Washington Monument, all from right there, which the kids thought was super neat. Then you can go down to the 5th floor. On the 5th floor is an archaeological exhibit about the people of the Bible, which was so neat because there were so many actual artifacts there, and we were able to go around and talk to the kids about, this was the actual money they used. This was an actual jar in somebody's house. It was just really neat way to really put to establish the reality that we weren't talking about like hypothetical stuff or make-believe people, that it was for real, and here's all the evidence of it. And so we had a really good time walking around that, a lot of reading in that one. But because it was the first place we went, the kids were still engaged with that. So then we went down to the 4th floor. On the 4th floor is really where you start to hit the meat of the museum. So the 4th floor is all about the Bible. The history of the Bible is what it's called. And I mean, I kid you not, you literally start with the oldest recorded records that we have of the Bible and Bible times, and some of the old steels and pictographs and different things that they've found. And you literally walk up through the entire history of the Bible, from finding the Dead Sea Scrolls to copying it in medieval times to making illuminated Bibles to the Gutenberg printing press to modern day translations. It is just, I mean, it is so... the depth of it, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I just kept being awed and awed. And the highlight for me of that area was they had a whole room full of illuminated Bibles. If you're not familiar with what that is, these are the medieval Bibles where they would handwrite the Bibles, but then they would draw and color and gold leaf the pictures around it.
They're incredible. They're pieces of art.
They really
Each
are.
one is a piece of
they
art.
Have tons of them.
And you get to go through personal Bibles from some of the kings.
Yeah, King James Psalms book is there.
And Charles and all these different ones. And then we also got to see just some interactive things, like there was someone there doing demonstration of the Gutenberg press and how that would have happened and how they would have copied the Bible. But you really get to see these beautiful psalters from the book of Psalms and personal prayer Bibles. And it was so fantastic. It was just one thing after another. And they're all just in this enormous room, and they're beautiful. They're different and just an incredible example. You also get to see large like the scrolls, the Jewish, there's a whole room full of just the Jewish large scrolls, how huge they are and how those are adorned beautifully. They have tassels on them and beautiful beadings along the cases of them. Those were fantastic. So from all different types of the manuscripts, you really get to see them.
And there is another good amount of reading here, but they really start to kind of spatter in some great stuff for the kids here as well. And so there's a couple of hands-on activities throughout the area. Then there's also these amazing, they start here, they're in several of the areas, but they're these interactive tabletops, and they give the kids a little stylus pen and they can interact with the table. And then there's also, in different areas, they have, it's a video screen, but it makes it look like you're looking through a window, and there's somebody dressed up in the period of that time that's telling you about it. And so that, there's like somebody dressed up as Gutenberg, and he's telling you about his press. It's just really kept the kids engaged.
And then they also, really cool, they had these kiosks where they have actual professors and archaeologists who are literally on that other side. It's a Zoom live stream where you can ask questions. So we were able to walk up and you see this professor, this archaeologist, or whatever it is, a linguist or someone who does the copying over the Bibles and copywriters and things like that. And so they're interacting with you. So you walk up to the screen, you see this guy there, you can ask questions, he can talk to you. So it isn't even just period people doing that, but it's actually people right now who are live streaming, zooming in. That was really cool as well.
And then the floor ends out with the Illuminations Room, which was super impactful. So it is all of the different translations of the Bible. And they have it broken up into, okay, here are all of the languages that is fully translated in. Here are all of the languages that they have just the New Testament. Here are all of the languages where they just have part of the Bible. And then here are all the languages where there is none of the Bible translated. And they had just the name of the people group and the language, and then just a clear book, like an invisible book there. And so you really got a scope of how far we've come in getting God's word to everybody, but how far there is still left to go. Super powerful.
That was really, I think if I left with anything, just the profound need for prayer over people who are translators, people like Wycliffe and different translating organizations, and what the job and the immense mission they have before them, and how we need to be supporting them through prayer and through giving, because wow, when you actually see it, you can't have a scope of how many people groups there still are, how many languages there are still yet to be translated into the Bible, who have absolutely no record of the Word of God in their language. Man, like I walked away, and I'll never forget that. It was a moment of even tears in my eyes and my heart kind of breaking over how much that I have several in my own house, and even in our camper. All of us have our own copy of God's Word, and how we take that for granted, and how we need to be thankful for that, but also need to be prayerful for those who need it in their languages.
And then on that floor for the kids, once you've kind of walked through and kind of read through some of the stuff, they have a nice theater that's right there at the end that is the Bible in History Theater. And so there's a great movie that's super interactive for the kids. It's on site in Israel and ancient Egypt. I mean, it's a super, super well done thing, and a great way to involve the kids. Then you move down to the third floor, and the third floor is really the climax floor. It's going to be your favorite. It's going to be your kids' favorite.
Great.
That's why it's a good idea to start up at the top and kind of hit that one in the middle. So the third floor is the Old Testament Bible experience, which we don't have any footage of because they ask you not to film in there.
You're not allowed.
But it's a really neat. It's kind of stations of the major stories of the Old Testament. So you like walk into a room and you see a little video, but it's not just a video. It's done so artistically with multiple screens, and the room's decorated. And then you get up and you follow lights and pictures through a little hallway, and then you hit another room, and then you do that again and again and again.
I'll say it's all the quality of any kind of, Disney, Pixar, all of that. Like this quality work was of that. You feel like you're almost in a Disney experience. Where it would be something you would see at Disney World or Disneyland, because it's just that high quality, just that interactive, and very hits you. It is so good.
And then they have the Bible in Jesus of Nazareth's time, which is an actual made up village like Nazareth would have been, with all the houses and people walking around in costume, and they're talking to you, and you can walk in all the houses, and some of the houses have little videos, and some of the houses have things you can touch. So immersive for the New Testament side of it.
So good.
And then they have a New Testament story video, which really gives you kind of the overview of the New Testament. By far our favorite floor. Then you go down to the second floor, and the second floor is all about the Bible in America, is the whole first part of it, and unbelievably neat, of showing how the Bible impacted our founding fathers, the settling of our country. And then throughout the history, how it impacted civil rights, and such a neat area. And then you move around to that, and then on the same floor, it moves from the Bible in America to the Bible now, and you get to see there's like live screens of how the Bible is impacting news and different things right now. It was just a really
relevant
neat
to where we are, and how our kids could see through our history how the Bible has been such an important part, but also just in the now, what's going on, because it's easy to feel like that you don't see it or hear it very much in the news or social media. But when they begin to show you all the different places and they bring it into one place, you're like, wow, that's really exciting. We're not alone. There is so much going on around us, and God is at work, and He has got such a mission that's unfolding even around us, even in the midst of what we're doing right now. And so that was really encouraging.
And then you can go down back to the first floor where you came in, and of course that's the entrance and the gift shop and stuff, but there's also a kids area.
But it was
specifically
closed.
There, it was closed because of COVID, but normally it's really hands-on. They get to make a scroll and write some Hebrew and some different things, and so you can finish off there, and then the basement is wasn't open this time. It's for transitional events and displays that they have, and they were in transition. They were between two. They had like a Christmas one they were taking down, and they were putting up something else. So there was nothing down there for us. But again, for adults, amazing. For kids, it was unbelievably amazing too. In addition to all of that interactive and hands-on, they even had a scavenger hunt thing where they gave the kids a piece of paper going in, and throughout every floor you're looking for clues and trying to find answers to questions, and then when they finished it, they got a little prize at the end. I mean, I just can't say enough great things about the Museum of the Bible.
A couple of tips. Number one, we spent almost as much eating as we did to get into the museum.
Yes, we did not leave because it was raining. Right. We would suggest there's a couple of fast food restaurants right there on the same road.
Or you can go out to your car, and you don't want to leave your parking deck because then you're not going to be able to get back in. We did pay. We got Spot Hero, and we were able. It's an app that you can get.
Like 50 yards
right
from the
there. And check here. What does tell you this? So if you need to find a place to park, so there's not the parking there. So you do need to get on something like Spot Hero, or just plan to drive around for a while. And number two, make sure that you know how tall you are. So we are a tall vehicle, and there was a lot of parking that had a 6-foot clearance only. Do not get on that app and order your spot without making sure of all the parameters, how tall it is, how wide you are, because it does matter in DC. It matters very much. So you can go out to your car and have lunch. You can take a picnic, put it in a cooler. You can go out to the parking garage if you don't want to walk around, or you can go to, there's a McDonald's, there's a few other places. You're only about 2 blocks from the mall, so of DC, and so you're able to you take a break and go walk around if you want to. The weather was just not conducive to that. I would say either plan well and put your money aside for a pretty expensive lunch. There are 2 restaurants. There is one on the top floor that was closed. It is a nicer restaurant. It's more of a chef-led restaurant. The one we went to was just more like fast food and snacks. So it was hot dogs and things like that.
Which is why it was pretty expensive and not very good.
It was.
But it was what we had. We didn't. It was worth not going out in the rain.
Yeah. So I would suggest a picnic lunch, or just plan ahead for your meal that day, because you don't want to leave too long, but you also want to make sure that you don't, because it was almost as much to eat as it was for us to even enter the museum. And you want to spend your money where you can get the most bang for your buck. And then the other thing is just make sure that you do the scavenger hunt, but also there's a great gift shop that has beautiful things in there. Man, oh man, don't leave and just think it's a typical tchotchke kind of gift shop. There are some beautiful things in there. There is some incredible like papyrus, which I got, and with a Bible bookmark on there. So that was a fun place to stop in just to even see some of the things that they had. They had some pottery there that was brought from the Dead Sea, and it was used, it was made over there. So there was a lot of really cool stuff there. So I thought that was a really neat and unique gift shop that we enjoyed that time.
So hopefully you'll go and take all of your kids to the Bible Museum. So come and check out what all we saw. right, so even though we are not going to really do DC this time because we're only here for a day, once the Museum of the Bible closed, we had a couple of hours. We figured we would at least come out on the lawn. And so we drove around for a minute and found a parking spot literally on the lawn.
Right
so now
here.
we're just going to walk up and down and look at a couple of these amazing memorials.
Our kids were dying to come. Christopher specifically has been waiting for this. So we just said, let's just try it. Come for just a few minutes. There is a pay parking that is on an app. So literally we are 5 steps away from the beautiful Washington Monument and the Capitol. And so we're just going to have some fun. We're going to burn off some steam. We've been in the museum for a couple hours. You can see them right there. We're just going to play and enjoy and see what we can see. And that's the fun of this adventure, is just we kind of take it a step at a time, and we just find adventure wherever we can. So we're going to go find some.